Year Oysta.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to World Year Oysta, and I'm your host, Paula Sanders, here to empower the dreamers and the doers. Whether you're looking for inspiration, motivation, or just need a little hot, rich anti-pep talk, then you are in the right place, because every week I am sitting down with some of New York City's biggest, boldest, and brightest lights to remind you that the world is truly your oyster. So let's dive right in. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of sitting down with someone who embodies confidence, creativity, and authenticity, Malvika Sheth. You probably know her as the powerhouse behind Style by Malvika, where she blends luxury fashion, beauty, and storytelling in a way that feels aspirational yet deeply relatable. But beyond the curated content and stunning visuals, Malvika is someone who has built her confidence from the ground up, navigating the highs and lows and sharing aspects of her life very openly online. As a fellow former dancer, I know firsthand how movement shapes not just our bodies, but our minds, our disciplines, and our sense of self. So today, we're getting real about confidence, how she found it, and where she is with it today. We're also going to pull back the curtains on the pros and cons of being so visible in the digital world and the pressures that come with it. And we're also going to speak a little bit about setting boundaries along the way. Malvika, welcome to World Year Oysta.
Thank you for having me. That was such a beautiful introduction. I don't think I've ever been so elaborately introduced. So thank you for conjuring that up. It's extremely beautiful what you said.
It's a talent. It's a talent.
Definitely a talent. I don't think I could do it, but great job.
Well, New York Fashion Week edition, we are both running around like crazy people. So thank you so much for making the time, because I know that this is like a hustle. And I also know from watching you on social media, like just how much you look forward to Fashion Week. So thank you for making the time. And hopefully this is like just as exciting as the shows.
Oh my gosh. I think this was like, I think after you do Fashion Week several times, you're always looking to do something new. This is definitely one of the things on my Fashion Week calendar, if not the thing that I was most excited about, just because it's different and out of what you usually do during Fashion Week.
Totally.
So I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming. And I really just want to dive right in, because I think that you're so fascinating. And what really resonated with me for you is how authentic the content is. And I actually, something that you posted, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and it said, this is what real skin looks like with makeup on. Mm. And that one for me, like, really hit, because I have been going through my own journey with my skin and all of these things, and the pressure to just feel and well, not feel, because no one's feeling anything on Instagram, but the pressure to look a certain way on Instagram is just so unrealistic. And then like you put that on top of like aging and all of that stuff, and it's just like a lot. So I thank you for the work that you do, because I think that it's really important, especially for younger girls, because it's hard to be a woman with a cell phone. It really is.
It is. And you know what? I will be honest. I posted that when I myself was in a pretty dark place. And I think when you are going through something, or something's difficult in your life, or you're not feeling 100%, that's kind of when the most relatable content comes out of you. I was going through a day where I was like, dude, I was actually scrolling, and I was like, I don't understand how everyone looks flawless. Like they have no pores. A lot of them have had work done, which to each his own, totally fine. But like, I have chosen not to, at least for now. And I was like, why do I feel like I don't look as good as them? And then I realized like they look the way they do because there could be a filter, there could be editing, there could have been work done, which is fine. You can present yourself as you want on Instagram, but I choose to present myself the way I am without editing. And I really want people to see the real me and know what everything looks like behind the scenes. And I think even when we talk about glamour and like a glamorous life or makeup or hair or skin or whatever we're doing, like I kind of feel this responsibility to show what things really look like, because I see a lot of sponsored content on like makeup products and skincare that's heavily filtered, and I just, that's not something that I would ever want to put out. So
yeah, well, you inspired me for sure. And I had my own moment like several days later after you, crying on the internet for the first time, which was, wow, so cringe, but it felt so good.
Feels good.
It felt really good. And and I'm going to be more transparent now because the truth is, everyone's using the Paris filter. And if we're not using the Paris filter, we're using CapCut to smooth our faces out. And we have bumps. Yeah. And that was really the whole, the whole point of that video is that we all have bumps on our face, whether they be just literal bumps, because skin, guys, you know what? It has bumps. It has bumps. And we have acne. We have things. We have hormones. We have, so how was the response to that video and how did you feel after putting it out there?
I think that's one of my, compared to my other videos, that one performed pretty well because I think it's something so simple. It's something so that every girl goes through.
Yeah.
And I think I aspire to put out more of that kind of content, but also I think the tough part now is to balance that kind of relatable stuff with the more artistic stuff, like the fashion-y stuff that I obviously love to do.
Yeah.
But I also know, like we were talking about, when you have younger girls following you, then you also have a responsibility to be true and honest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balance now between doing the more relatable stuff, sometimes funny stuff, and then sometimes more artsy and fashion-y.
Yeah. So how do we get here, right? You are creating content full-time, which it takes a lot of courage to do that and leave. I don't know if you were coming from something stable beforehand or, what's your journey to getting to, being a full-time content creator?
So I started creating content in college. I was in my second year of college. And by the time the third year came around, I realized that, oh my gosh, I think I could turn this into a business because 6 months into me creating content, I got my first paid brand deal and that was with Reebok.
With Reebok?
With Reebok.
Wow. So that I'm sure you probably paid you well.
I mean, it was $100. So it wasn't crazy, but it was the first, I was studying entrepreneurship and marketing and I knew okay, we got something, we can scale it, you know? And so my friend really pushed me. She at the time was doing a poetry blog and she knew a little bit about Instagram. I was also following a lot of influencers. And so she was go out there, do it, try it and see what happens. And I was so ambitious and enthusiastic that I went up to my my school dean. And I was like, hey, can I take 25 credits and graduate a year early? And he was like, we don't let people take 25 credits. That's not a thing we do here. I was like, I know, but look at my grades. I think I can do it. And so he let me do it. Graduated in 3 years. And I took that fourth year to figure out how to make this full time. So that was me really just reaching out to different PR people, reaching out to different people at brands and showing what I'd done before. I actually started attending Fashion Week while I was in college. So really just kind of building my network and then obviously figuring out what kind of content resonates with people, building my audience, doing all of that. And yes, so I took that year to make it full time. And then after then, I never looked back.
Yeah. So let's dive into that a little bit because I think that there is a big misconception with people out there that are not in the content space that they think that these brand deals just come to you. And the truth is that eventually, yes, one day they will, but there is a whole hustle behind the scenes from the content creator themselves of reaching out to brands, PR, people are not just calling. So do you want to just explain what that's like a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll take you back to the beginning. I had a spreadsheet and every day my goal was to reach out to 50 people. 50 people I would email. And I would get maybe out of the whole week, I would get 3 responses. So if we're emailing 50 people for 7 days, and I worked on the weekends too. So for 7 days, if we're emailing 50 people, that's 350 people. The response rate is crazy low, but it, like they say, it only takes that one yes.
Yep.
And I remember some of my first paid brand partners when I barely even had 10,000 followers. I think early on, I was able to work with Tory Burch in a paid capacity, a lot of really cool brands that I was I could see that there was potential for me to keep doing this. And I just kept going. I really just put blinders on. I would sit on my emails like a crazy person, which it's so funny because if you think about two sides of this career, sometimes I feel like I live 2 polar opposite lives. It's me in a bun, in gym shorts, on my computer with my glasses on, emailing.
Dusty and crusty.
Right? Totally dusty and crusty. And then coming to Fashion Week and doing the whole thing. So that's how it was in the first days. Now, over the years, I've had different agents that I've worked with that have kind of done that role for me. And now I'm back to being on my own because I like being in charge of my finances. I like being in charge of the relationships with brands.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for someone who is just starting out in that space, like what do you recommend? Like you said, you were sitting on your emails all day. Like what are you sending them? And then also like, how did you figure out what your rate should be? Because that's usually, if they do respond, they ask, okay, so what are your rates?
What are your rates?
So how do you figure out what your rate should be? And then also too, like, what are you sending them? Like, what do you put in that? It's not called a media kit. It's called a
you could make a media
kit.
Yeah,
what are you putting in that kit? So a three-way answer.
Okay.
There.
So first thing for rates.
Well, email first. Like, what's your initial outreach look like?
So my initial outreach is usually to a brand that I've already posted content about. So I'll send them the organic content. I'll say it's reached this many people. It's done this well. And actually more than the numbers, I think they're interested in like comments or like sentiment that people have towards it. So if someone liked the way that you styled it, you can kind of like highlight that. Or if you've got a lot of DMs about that product specifically, you can highlight that. So I try to find something different than just the numbers because I don't know, I just find numbers boring. And I'm sure people that work at brands see numbers all the time. So you want to try to bring something new to that pitch email. So send them something you've created already. Send them something unique about that. And then include your media kit. And I would say in initial outreach, don't put your rate because I think that
that's tacky.
Yeah. And also like oftentimes a brand has more budget than what you're going to even ask for. So it's better to like ask them what budget they're working with. And then
that's really smart. And what do you put in that media kit?
So the media kit has some of your press mentions. It has your previous brand partnerships. If your media kit has your rates in the initial email, I would take that out. I'm trying to think what else went in my media kit.
What if you have nothing, right? Like, so what if you've not been mentioned in the media? What if you just have your insights
stats.
From it? Yeah, your
stats and insights and just make it really pretty because I think, especially if you're in the fashion and beauty space, like having a good aesthetic in anything that you're sending out there is very helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I think, even I struggle with this. Like a lot of the luxury brands like want a very, very specific aesthetic. And I'm like, but I'm colorful. I can't do the black and white thing, So just keep in mind who you're sending to, what their aesthetic is like. And I'm not saying you should change yours, but maybe like pick and choose and like alter as needed. Yeah.
Canva is actually really great for that, by the way, you guys. Like if you are looking to go into this space, Canva has some really incredible portfolio templates that you could just pop yourself into and like change into your, like if you have brand colors or whatever. I found that like so useful.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to rates, like especially when you're first starting out, so your recommendation would be to just like not mention them, right? Or to just ask them what type of budget that they're working with and then figure out what makes the most sense for you once they tell you.
I would suggest that. And then like once you kind of have done a couple partnerships and you've understood what brand's appetite is, I'm not saying your rate should be what a brand has paid you before. You can make it higher, you can make it lower, whatever you want. But there are a lot of tools out there. Now there's FU Pay Me. It's called FU Pay Me. So it's one of the tools that I think is really helpful. It kind of is a glass door for influencers. So it helps you. People basically anonymously will put in what they did with a brand. Like the scope of work was, 3 Instagram reels, right? And what their following was, what they were paid, and their experience working with the brand. So was it positive or negative? And it's great because you get to learn a lot about what brands are really out there and like walking the walk and the brands that really are not walking the walk.
Whoa, I'm going on this today.
Yeah. And the thing, I think the caveat is like you have to submit an anonymous review in order to get access to other anonymous reviews. But that's fine.
Yeah.
If you submit your review of whatever brand you've worked with and then,
That's crazy. What I'm finding like right now on Instagram in particular, I can't even dive into TikTok because I actually can't even get into TikTok anymore because I deleted it from my phone before I went to Japan.
Okay. So do you want to get back into it?
Well, I don't want to get a VPN. I literally can't get it. So I deleted it from my phone before I went to Japan.
There's a way to get it because mine got offloaded because my iCloud does this thing where it offloads app if I don't use it for 24 hours.
Oh.
So one day I didn't use WhatsApp and not WhatsApp. TikTok.
I was just about to say Snapchat. I'm like, no, Snapchat. No, we're lost today.
Yeah, it's been a couple days of Fashion Week, guys. But yeah, there's a way to do it. So
okay, we'll go offline. Yeah, we'll go offline on that.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding right now is with Instagram, actually, stories are performing better than anything for me. So I'm like, should I be taking a screenshot of my stories, like how many people are viewing them and what the impressions are, like before they go away in 24 hours? Like that's my fear now. Because like the other day I had actually a story perform the best I've ever had a story. And I didn't take a screenshot because like, whatever, like what was I thinking? And then I was like, wait, actually, what if I ever want to put this in my media kit? I should have taken a photo of it. And then when I went back into the graveyard, into the archives, it's not there.
You don't see the insights.
Yeah.
So I think what I've learned, I don't know if this just works for me, because I think everyone's Instagram account is different. For some people, stories perform the best. Some people, reels perform the best. Some people, posts perform the best. If your stories are performing good, I would suggest take screenshots.
Yeah.
And also, this is kind of a weird hack that I noticed, but if you post one story frame in 24 hours, that ends up getting maximum views. Have you tried that? Just posting one? Or is that?
No, that's a great idea though.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
It's always a battle. Listen, like
you gotta
we're out there
test and try things.
Yeah, like I'm out there fighting the good fight every single day. Most days I actually do not. I hate social media. I love long format content. That's why I have a podcast.
Thank God for
podcasts. I hate making real. I hate it. Honestly, I'm enjoying my little day in the life though. So follow those. Those are fun. But like, I don't know. I just like, I don't have a brain like yours. Like, I think that you are so incredibly creative and can get on there and hop in and do short format in a really unique and creative way. Like, I don't see many people doing the things that you do, like even with the styling stuff. Like, I think it's a lot of it's really smart. But what do you do on the days when something that you made that took you hours to make, like fucking tanks?
It's so difficult because it's not even just like I see it tank. It's like the world sees it tank.
Yeah.
But honestly, no one's watching. No one remembers like your
bad content.
Or like,
it wasn't bad content. It's just content that didn't get pushed out the way that you wanted to get pushed out.
Exactly. And I think at this point, I'm at a point where I'm not chasing the numbers as much as I'm just trying to really make sure that my intention with what I put out is very clear.
Yeah.
For me, creating content and building this audience, I realize that I have this responsibility, and I've taken it upon myself to push my culture forward a little bit, to really highlight like Indian culture, to highlight what it is to be an Indian American and an Indian born and raised in America. And I know I have a large audience of other South Asian females. So like just being able to be that person for them, even if it's like me showing up to Fashion Week and going to an event, I will
something traditional.
Or just like adding a spin, not making a huge statement out of it, but adding my little spin to it in a way that doesn't feel so like, oh my gosh, like in your face, but something cute and different and like a nice blend of both cultures.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably so nice for them to see as well, because I think, you know, regardless of where we are, even though it's 2025, I just think that to be different, it's still hard. And it sucks that it's that way. It's getting better. It's getting better, but it's still not great.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure like even with the good, when you share in that way, like, do you ever get any type of negative comments? Like, and what do you like, how do you handle those types of situations?
Yeah, I think recently I put out, this is my most viewed video, and I can't understand why, but it was a hack where I used an Indian scarf or dupatta.
On your arm. It was so beautiful.
I thought it was fun and I thought it was cute. It got like 21 million views, and I was like, this is my most viewed video on social media ever. But naturally, when something goes viral, it gets a lot of negative attention. And it also did really well on TikTok. And I think I saw on TikTok a lot of negative comments about like, this is a disrespectful way to like wear the dupatta. And like, you know, anytime I think I do something experimental with Indian garments or Indian pieces, there's always a little bit of pushback. And I understand that, because maybe they're coming from a place where they don't give themselves the freedom or liberty to do something different. But I think growing up in the States, I've always felt like, you know, this need to make my culture my own, you know, and I shy away from people that say, you can't do this and you can't do that, because my whole life, I feel like I never fit into a box. So why am I going to now try to fit into a box? I'm going to keep doing things that feel fun and interesting to me. And if you don't like it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to like it, but I'm here for the like 90% of people that thought that that was cool and that took some inspiration from that. So with negativity, as long as it doesn't, you kind of have to make it relative, right? Like if 21 million people have viewed your video and you've gotten 100 or 200 negative comments, but you've also gotten like, I don't know, like 10,000 likes, the positivity is, more than the negativity. So you kind of have to like put it in perspective, and you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
In no circumstance can you please everyone.
Yeah. And now let's talk about the viral moments, right? Because I think that so many people think, oh, you have a viral moment and all of a sudden your life's changed.
No. I was sitting at
We're
home.
here to tell you that that is not true.
I was sitting at home eating hot cheese popcorn, and after it went
What is
viral.
hot cheese popcorn?
Actually, so it's by this brand called Wise. And actually, when I came to New York, I ordered some more of it for my hotel room.
Like, is it spicy cheese?
It's spicy cheese popcorn.
Wait, like Wise, like the potato chips?
Yeah.
Like what?
That brand.
Like from the 90s? I mean, that's
Yeah.
like the blue, like yellow and blue.
Yeah, yellow and blue.
What?
Yeah. So
you're eating that and you look like that? Come on.
Listen,
What the heck?
popcorn is like a guilty pleasure of mine. Also, I have this weird thing where I think popcorn is healthy, but it's not, guys. It's just like empty calories.
Have you ever tried Lesser Evil?
No.
Lesser Evil has the best popcorn, and it's actually not bad for you.
Is it the Himalayan salt
Yes.
one? Okay, I've seen it. I've not tried it, but
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you're sitting at home, you're eating
hot
Wise hot cheese popcorn.
And I'm watching this video go viral. The next day, same routine, get up, shower, eat my breakfast, 2 p.m. hits. I see it's got like 10 million views or something like that. Again, eating my hot cheese pop. Nothing changes, guys. Like one viral video doesn't make a lot of things happen. Now, there's a caveat to that. I think if you have a viral video that's very brand friendly, like if you have like a makeup tutorial that goes viral, then you will have a lot of beauty brands reaching out to you after that. But I don't think this specific video resulted in a lot of like brand outreach. Yeah.
And it also doesn't mean that your next video is going to go viral either. So that's like the other thing. Like people like, it's just so important to know, because I think that so many people are just chasing virality or just want their viral moment because they think it's going to shift something in their life. But the truth is it's like really not going to change anything. And you want to know something really interesting that happened to me? Because listen, I am nobody. I have a small following. The only reason I care about Instagram or TikTok or any of these things is for this show, because I want for this show to reach so many people, because I love it so much and I love the conversations that we're having.
To your point, I think it's the depth in like podcasts, and yours in specific. I don't think it's the breadth of people it reaches, it's the depth. And like, I was really like, I connected a lot with your podcast and like, I was really hooked on it. So
thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah. No, so here was the interesting thing, right? So I had my moment that I just spoke about, that I've just been going through this thing. Listen, it's a sad time. It's depressing. It's seasonal depression. It's all of these different things, but it's also, I came back from a very long trip away that I worked really hard to go on. But even for the podcast, because I had my assistant putting all the content out there. So I worked to get 3 weeks of content done in 1 week. And I think what happened is I burnt out big time. Came home, had no desire to create I re-released old episodes, whatever. So that got me really worried. And I was like, oh my God, like what's going on with me? And then like posted a few things, they did terribly. And I'm like, oh my God, like what gives, right? What gives? And then I cried on Instagram, as I said, but I had a fashion week event that night. And I actually brought a friend with me who has huge following, like probably 600,000 plus. And we walked into the event, and I walk into that room and I am like flooded with love of real people, real human beings that are either have been on the show, that are coming on the show, or that love the show.
Yeah.
And this was a room that I'm sure this woman paid tens of thousands of dollars in PR to get these people into this space. And the girl herself that had the big following, she was like, damn, I've been to a lot of events, Paula, but like, I've never seen anybody know so many people in the room.
Yeah.
And that's when I really like sat back and I was like, okay, do you know what? What means the most is having a real community of physical humans. And we all need to stop chasing invisible people.
Yeah.
Because it's just invisible people. It's invisible people that don't know you, don't care about you, that follow 9 billion other women or men or whatever, just like you.
Yeah.
And what it's about is real people. Like, who are the people that are there for you when you put that phone down?
Yeah.
And it took me having that moment to like really be like, okay, this is what's important, Paula.
Yeah.
Fuck the other stuff. Truly. Because it will come when it's supposed to.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think like people don't realize, but creating content is such a lonely thing. And you have to, like, even if today I'm going to Fashion Week events and like meeting people, like at the end of the day, I'm coming back to my hotel room, sitting by myself and like editing for hours. which is not cute. It's not what it looks like. It's not this. I mean, I think sometimes, at least in India, this happens a lot, but people confuse being a socialite with being an influencer. And like these terms are all used very interchangeably. And I just feel like there is so much power in genuine social connection. Like when you have friends that you can count on. And I'm finding myself in a place lately where I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't given time to my friends. I haven't. And it's scary. And I've sacrificed that for the sake of my career and content and stuff. But I'm like, is that really what I want to do long term? I need to find a better balance. So you're absolutely right. I'm so glad that when you walked into that event, there were people that flooded you with love, because it's just so important. When you're low, I think of like when I'm low, the first person I call is my mom. But it would be so nice to have people in a similar industry, in a similar age range and space to say, yeah, we're here for you. We hear you. And like, we understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I'm so happy that you had that.
And it's so funny because I was literally just like on my way there. I was like, I just need a sign. I need a sign to either keep going or, I mean, not with life. I mean, life is going to always keep going. But I'm like, should I keep going with this podcast or should I just like
keep going,
just dedicate my time to other things? I have a real career outside of this, you know, that is just as important. And I was just like, I just need a sign to either stop or go. And I got that sign to go. But I'm with you on all of this being like incredibly lonely. So how do you like set your boundaries to feel good? Because I think when I'm creating the most sometimes, when I'm not having the exchange from the podcast and I'm just creating and doing my job or whatever, that's when I'm at my lowest.
Yeah.
So how do you perk that up and set your boundaries so that you're not working all the time? Because you can work all the time.
I know. I checked my screen time, guys. Yesterday it was like 8 hours and 54 minutes. And I said, nope, we can't do this. We cannot do this anymore. Lately, I've been implementing a lot of yoga. It kind of got thrown off when I came here. But this morning I did a little bit of yoga, like 10 minutes of like meditation/yoga. But I've been doing yoga daily. I do therapy regularly. I've talked about this. I try to hang out with friends at least once or twice a week. So it's like not, I am more of an introvert. So I like spending time alone because that's where I get my creative thought. But if I spend too much time alone, then it can turn to like feelings of loneliness. So I try to make sure that like I schedule in the things that make me feel a little bit more balanced as a human being. So whether that's yoga, hanging out with friends, therapy, I try to work out as well every day. And the yoga I do is not really like workout yoga. It's more just like very relaxing yoga. I do a little bit of pranayama, if anyone knows what that is, like alternate nostril breathing. So yeah.
Oh, like,
yeah.
Do you actually touch it?
This and this. Yeah.
What does that do for you?
So that's really good to calm anxiety. And it just kind of resets your breathing pattern.
Yeah. Do you run anxious or?
Yeah, I think, I don't want to generalize here, but I think people that work in social media have this tendency to always feel like they constantly have to be on, which can lead to anxiety and feelings of anxiety. So I lean that way sometimes. So I have to kind of bring myself back to center.
Yeah. Hey, my pearls, did you know that electrolytes, creatine, and collagen are the ultimate hack for looking and feeling amazing? That's why I am so excited that we have partnered up with Harlow. Harlow is a fab 3-in-1 performance-enhancing drink that is packed with natural electrolytes for hydration, collagen for radiant skin and joint support, and creatine to fuel your muscles and boost your cognitive function. Plus, it's sugar-free, gluten-free, and it tastes amazing. So I know what you're thinking. Creatine? Really? Yes, really. As women, we often overlook or are scared of creatine, but it's crucial for boosting our energy and endurance. It also plays a vital role in muscle recovery and helps maintain our overall strength as we age. As a woman juggling a full-time job, a podcast, and a million things in between, I do not have time to waste feeling tired, sore, or not at 100%. And that's why I never miss a day. And I can genuinely say that Harlow makes a difference. Whether I'm sipping it after solid core or enjoying it as a pick-me-up during a busy afternoon, Harlow keeps me hydrated, glowing, and ready to tackle whatever the day brings my way. To hydrate and elevate your wellness with me, visit www.drinkharlow.com and use the code OYSTA20 for 20% off of your first order. That's www.drinkharlow.com and use the code OYSTA20 at checkout for 20% off. So I want to talk to you about confidence because I feel like that's something that you talk so openly about and how it's been a real journey for you.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, like what does being confident mean to you?
I think it's changed over the years. Today, being confident, I'm learning to kind of cultivate this quiet confidence. I don't have to scream being confident. I don't have to even put stuff out there. Like sometimes silence is the best form of confidence that you can have. So I think earlier confidence for me was like, I had to really put it on. And I think fashion helps with that. So putting on that face of makeup, putting on that really out there outfit, like that would be my way to channel confidence. Today, I don't necessarily need that for confidence. Yes, it's a tool, but I'm finding confidence in just being really, I think, centered. And I think these yoga and like therapy and these things really are helping me feel centered. And when you're centered, it's not even just like confidence, it's like confidence, balanced, just at peace. So I think when I say quiet confidence, I think cultivating yoga and all these other activities have really helped lead me to where I am today. But it's been a journey. I don't know how many people listening would know, but I went through quite a bit of a journey with like weight loss and my body and even the way that I looked. I look very different today than I did when I was 13. And they say your childhood does shape you. So I'm definitely like scarred by some of the things that I experienced and bullying and comments and stuff like that. But I'm glad that I am where I am today. And I think everything happens for a reason. So I'm glad that today my confidence is more of a quiet confidence.
Yeah. I'm with you on that 100%. Like I too have had my, back and forths with weight, and I grew up in the dance school, as I was saying to you. And my parents actually were my dance teacher, particularly my father, because I ended up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
both
cool.
of my parents owned dance schools, but when I turned like, I don't know, 13 or something, I actually moved over to just my dad's dance school because he had the very competitive school. And it's really, really hard to be the owner's daughter, not just when your dad is your teacher, but when every other teacher knows that you're the owner's daughter, and they double down on the pressure. And, when you're 13 and hearing from your own dad, sorry, I know maybe he'll listen, but like that, you need to not eat that. It really like fucks with you. Yeah. And that has always stayed with me. I'm still afraid of food. Like I'm getting better, don't get me wrong. And the only reason that I'm better is because I have an incredible husband that like really forced that out of me and was just like, I can't listen to you be this way because you're so beautiful. And if you don't see that, I don't understand. Like why are you this way? I'm like, it has been ingrained in me since I've never not been on a diet. Like I have never not been on a diet. I've never eaten a bowl of pasta and been like, that was good. Like I've always been like, oh my God, okay, so tomorrow I have to do double time on the this. And like, for what? Like, for what? And now especially because like, I don't dance anymore. I'm not making money off of my body, and like there's just no reason for it.
Yeah.
So I'm really working on that aspect of my life because there's no need for any of us to feel a certain way because of the way that we look.
No, the most beautiful girl in the room is the happiest. Eat what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Be healthy, but eat what makes you happy, guys. Like I also went through a lot of this. Well, first of all, to hear about the pressure that you went through. And I mean, even it's small things, but those are the things you remember the most.
Yes.
I remember something similar when I was at Olive Garden. Everyone was having a dessert. Like it was me and my family friends. So basically my parents' family friends and their kids. So it was like 6 kids and then their families and a big long table. Everyone's ordering dessert. I ordered dessert. I wanted a brownie. And I remember my mom I don't think she meant it in a bad way. She just looked at me. She was like, sure you want to order that. And I just, for some reason, remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
I
have the same story.
Yeah.
I literally have the same story at Disney.
We have such a similar background. We both were dancers.
Yeah.
Maybe journeys with our bodies as well. Yeah. So it's cool that we get to chat about this.
100%. And I also too have the same feeling of feeling like I never fit in and was never enough of any of the things that I am. So I am Italian and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So when I go to the doctor, so that makes me white and Hispanic.
Yeah.
So when I go to the doctor, you sit and you check the boxes, right? And there's Hispanic, non-white, and white. And there's no white and Hispanic. So every time I go to the doctor, I have this like existential crisis, right?
Gosh.
And it's even still like when I go through my day to day, like I was never Puerto Rican enough to be the Puerto Rican girl.
Yeah.
And I was never like white enough to be the white girl.
Yeah.
Like people always be like, what's going on with you? You're something, right? Like you got some sazon in you. I'm like,
oh my God.
yeah, even yesterday, right? I was waiting at Alice and Olivia because they wanted to take the photos and whatever.
Yeah.
So like these people were, I don't know, just like grouping on the side of the street, and they were like, honey, are you Latina? And I was like, I am, but I don't speak Spanish. And they were like, oh, pobrecita. And I was like, this is what it is. And I understand that like feeling not enoughness. It's on a much smaller scale because I think that your family is much more traditional as well and much more tied to your heritage as to where like my family is definitely like, we're white, we're American, at the end of the day.
But don't discount it. I feel like that identity struggle is something that a lot of us face. Most of us, in fact, America is made up of people of different cultures for the most part, right? So a lot of us face identity struggles. And when you come from a dual identity like yours, lately I've tried to reframe it and think of, instead of you're not this and you're not that, you're this and that. And it's very beautiful that you can be this mix of two cultures so that when you want to learn more about the other, maybe one day you want to learn Spanish or maybe one day you want to learn, you can.
Yeah.
Because you have this beautiful blessing of being born into a family where you can embrace both.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe other people won't understand that. They may not see you as enough of this or enough of that, but you have to know in yourself that you're unique and that uniqueness is enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And what makes all of us different and unique and not like each other.
Totally.
And for so many years, especially growing up, like when you're in, your formative years, I never talked about the fact that I was Puerto Rican, like ever.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got older that I got like proud of it. It's something that's like I find to be so cool. But when I was younger, I was different. Everybody was Irish or Italian. Nobody was Hispanic, and it's something that I wear with extreme pride now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is always that like identity struggle. And what I actually thought was like would be interesting to talk about with you, just because typically, South Asian, their parents push them, they want to be doctors, like all the things. So, and I know that you are incredibly artistic, and not only are you creating content, but you still also dance, and you're not just doing the traditional Indian dance anymore, but you do like hip hop and all those things. Yeah, and you're also taking on acting from what I understand. So like, how's the family taking that? Are they okay with it? Or
So I think like any immigrant family just wants their child to have, I think, financial security and safety and stability. Those are very, very, in fact, probably the most important things for my parents. So as long as I could have proved to them that I was able to do that, and I think after I took that year and figured it out and showed them, they still didn't understand it. They still don't understand it fully today. But they're like, we trust you. We know you got, you're paying your bills. You're doing your thing. Yeah. We trust you. And the hardest part for them, I think, is what will people say? But they're more concerned about like my happiness and my well-being. And to be honest, my mom is a fashion girly. Like she loves fashion and pop culture and all these things. So I think she's vicariously in a way like living through me. And she's really happy to see me have the privilege to be able to choose what to do with my career, because she didn't have that. Like in her family, her dad literally told her that she had to get married right after college. And it was semi-arranged. I mean, she saw a couple people before my dad, but everyone was kind of, all the boys were chosen by her dad. And even when it came to marrying my dad, this is kind of like a interesting fact. I don't know how my dad will feel about this. Dad, mom loves you now, so don't worry. But, when she was dating my dad, they went on like 1 or 2 dates. And when it came time to decide, like my dad's dad told my mom's dad, so what's her choice? She needs to tell us now whether she's interested, like wants to get married or not. And my mom was like, I'm not sure. Like, there's nothing wrong with him, but I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with him, but I don't know if I want to get married to him. And so her brother then told her, okay, but you have to tell me what's wrong with him. And she's like, but there's nothing wrong with him. And so then, the whole family was like, okay, then get married to him. And so she did. And, the story ends beautifully. I think with arranged marriages, you find love. It's not you fall in love and then you get married. You kind of find love slowly. So that's kind of what happened with my parents. And yeah, I think, she didn't have the choice to chase a career, to chase her passions. And now she can. I think she's in a space now where both her kids are kind of off on their own and she's learning and she's doing a lot of different things that she enjoys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for her, it's very liberating to see me. And I know I'm fighting kind of like a generational thing of like women can't work for themselves and women can't, after they get married, they don't work or women have to get married. Like a lot of generational things that all my generations past have done, I am not doing. So it's tough, but I think that my mom appreciates me for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your parents ever pressure you to like find someone, get married? Is that like a big?
Yeah. I mean, my dad once told me, he was like, Malvika, you can't put this off anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? Because actually I've never been in a proper relationship. And I feel like, I've had crushes. I've had like high school things. I don't even know what you call it, but I've been very career focused. And I maybe think now in this era of my life where I'm talking about balance, like maybe I need to like start dating and maybe like doing some of these things. But I mean, yeah, my mom has literally told me, she's like, I know a guy that's perfect for you. And she'll show me like a picture and she's my son's friend, he's perfect for you. And I'm like, Mom, he's perfect in your head. My type is very different. So, they're not telling me I have to get an arranged marriage or anything. They're pretty open-minded that way.
Yeah.
But my mom has suggested some people and I'm like, Mom, not right now.
What is your type?
I've noticed it's definitely facial hair. I love facial hair.
Okay.
I don't know why. Someone that's really ambitious like me. And I think someone that doesn't have to be faith, like they don't have to be religious or anything, but some sense of spirituality in them. Like does something in their daily life to center them or like ground them or bring them back to like the non-material world.
And what if you found like a white boy? Would that be okay?
Totally fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how are you thinking about the future, right? Because with content creators, right, you have all of this happening all at once. And I'm sure there's a lot of money coming in and all these things. Like, are you setting yourself up to always have intake like this? Or are you like doomsday preparing? And then like, what are you thinking for the future? Like for content, are you having other arms to your business? Do you have any type of dreams to create product or do other things?
Yeah. So I think when I think of myself as sort of like a human being, I think that my talent is very much in the artistic space. So that's why I delved into acting. I'm also taking singing classes, not saying I'm going to turn it into a career, but now that's become a hobby that sometimes I'll like share TikToks of me singing small snippets.
Oh, fun.
So I really think that as an artist, I have always felt that just doing content kind of puts me in a box. I'm really glad that I get to talk about the fact that I dance in my content, talk about my acting in my content now, and maybe even share singing in my content. So it's really just about like, I think exploring the most artistic side of me. And my friend she gave me this recommendation of a book called The Artist's Way.
I've done it.
Really?
It's the best.
Yeah.
So tell them what it is. We talked about it on the show before, but just in case someone's tuning in for the first time.
So it's this book that recommends different practices that you do. And right now I've only gotten like, I think 20 pages in the book. But the first thing it told me to do was to write the morning pages. So 3 pages every day when you wake up, journal. Whatever comes to your mind. And I have been doing that religiously. I skipped this morning, but I will go back and do it now.
Do it today when you get back.
I'm going to do it when I get back. So, I mean, it's just been very eye-opening and another activity that centers you a lot. And I think it's one of the things that told me, like move forward with singing. Even if you suck at it right now, you'll get better. And if it's something you like, you love music so much, do it. You know?
Yeah. It's incredible what comes out on those pages. Like things that you have no idea that you would ever, that even were like you were harboring in there or that you were thinking about. And then that's the interesting thing. Like, I know you're not really supposed to read them, but like it's just when you see something showing up every single day that you didn't even think was something that was real for you, like that's when you know that's the thing that you really need to focus on. But I love The Artist's Way. I did it once and last year, I want to do it again for sure. It's a commitment though.
Oh yeah.
It's a time commitment and it hurts.
And it's like, it's not the easiest thing. No. I recently got to a page where it's like, take yourself out on a date every week. I'm like,
so you're supposed to do it every week.
Yeah.
So that's that's what you're really supposed to do. So once a
Yeah.
week, you're supposed to take yourself on an artist date, something that's completely for you. So it can't be like work related or whatever. Like it's just something like if you want to go to an art supply shop and buy, paints or whatever and paint that day. Or
Yeah.
like for me, a lot of times my artist day was going to Pilates, like because I do that for me and I love it. But like there's so many different things. Or take yourself you like music, take yourself to go see a concert. Or, whatever, or something like that. It doesn't even have to be something that's expensive. But if you are like feeling that you're in a rut, the artist way is incredible. And actually my friend Diana Cohen, who came on the show, she started the Crown Affair.
Oh, okay.
She is putting together a group of like hundreds of people that are doing the artist way together.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you'll have to follow her. I don't know
Okay.
if it started or not, but she's doing that, which is so cool. What are some other just like rituals and things that you do to kind of like hype yourself up? Because creating content every single day, as you said, it's lonely, but it's also challenging. So how do you get yourself there? And then also I'd love to know too, like your process. Do you plan weeks in advance? Like how are you doing that?
Good question. The creative process is very ugly. It's very ugly and sporadic and not streamlined, but there are some things I do. So creative process, I try to keep myself to a posting schedule. I try to post once a day, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. If it's not an Instagram Reel, then it's a post, but 90% of my Instagram stuff is Reels. So what I do is first I think about, okay, what have I posted too much of? Because I don't want to keep doing the same thing. I think creatively, I feel very stuck when I know something works and I feel pressure to keep doing that because it works. Like when that, the scarf hack, I literally batch filmed that day, like 4 or 5 of them. And then I was like, okay, we're done with this. We're not going to touch this anymore. Because I think I just don't want to keep doing the same thing because it works. The audience that follows me will get bored. I may get new audience, but like the people that follow me will get very bored. So I try to sit down and like brainstorm some ideas.
See, that's the opposite of what I've heard from most people.
Yeah, because
they say when you find something that works, just keep fucking doing it.
And that was the advice when I started out. I talked to a very established creator in India, and she said, "Figure out what works for you and just keep doing that." And I think yes, with an asterisk, because when you know what works, you can always come back to it, but you're never going to feel satisfied inside. Seeing the numbers does not satisfy you. I'm telling you, it does not. Creative. This is why I'm reading The Artist Way, because I just feel like you need to be creatively satisfied with what you do. Every day you should wake up and feel excited about what you do, not feel like, oh, I have to do this. What's the difference between creating and then working a 9-to-5 job? And there's not really a difference. There are a lot of people, like they're stuck in jobs where they have to do the same thing every day and they're struggling to find passion for it, So I don't ever want to wake up and feel like I've lost passion for it, which is why I need to make that list of like new ideas. And also, nothing wrong with looking for inspiration, scrolling through your Reels tab, or even going to Pinterest or another app to find inspiration. I think when we get inspired by other people's ideas, it's good. It's a fine line to walk because you don't want to copy people. Even if you do copy them, always give them credit. But yeah, scroll for inspiration, take a walk for inspiration. As many weird things as you can do to get inspiration, just do it.
Yeah. Are you like actually sitting down with the calendar and you're like, okay, these are the different things I'm going to post this week? Like how methodical are you about it?
Not that methodical.
Okay. So you just wake up and create and batch.
Yeah, because I think it's also about feeling what the sentiment is out there. Like, today is a Super Bowl, right? So people are going to be creating.
Is it? I had no idea.
I know we're like in the trenches of Fashion Week. We're like,
I had no idea.
But the Super Bowl is also happening. Yeah. So
who's performing?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh.
That's the only reason I know about it because I'm a huge Kendrick fan. So I'm like,
oh, are you? I would not peg you for like a huge Kendrick fan. Yeah. That's so funny.
It's I very much am like hip hop R&B girl. So I love all of that. I like rap too a lot. So, but anyways. So yeah, today's the Super Bowl. A lot of people will be creating content about that. So I think because like we were talking about earlier in marketing, the ground is always moving underneath your feet. Being too planned ahead can almost work against you. So I like to just wake up and just feel sort of what the vibes are. And sometimes the night before I'll have something planned for the next day, but I don't plan like weeks in advance.
Yeah. Do you find that you're like, so this is a struggle for me. Like sometimes when I'm really trying to like get content and all these things, like I feel as if though I'm living a half life and I'm not being present or where my feet are.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that way?
All the time. With Fashion Week, especially because I'm like, I figure the trends out through looking at my phone, not even through what, because when I'm at the show or event, I'm like literally, and I don't want to do that anymore, which is why I've decided this fashion week, I'm barely doing like things. Previously I used to feel like I have to go everywhere I'm invited. It is a privilege to be here. I have to go everywhere. If they're inviting me, I got to go. I've said 90% no's and like literally have like 4 or 5 things on my calendar for this whole fashion week. And I'm very happy about it because I know when I get there, I'm not going to be overstimulated and overwhelmed from having done 50 things in the morning that day. I'm going to show up, I'm going to get my content, and then I'm going to put my phone down and try to enjoy what I see.
Yeah.
So definitely, like, I understand where you're coming from. It is a thing. But I think when you figure out like the point at which you need to get content at the event you're at, maybe get it in the beginning, get it over with, and then enjoy. Yeah. Something like that.
So give us like a little bit of the behind the scenes, like why is it important as a content creator to come? And like what's like the thing that's like, okay, you know what? Like for me, I'm not a content creator, but like I work adjacent to the fashion space. So like New York, I'm here, I go. But last September, through a friend, I actually got invited to the Versace show in Milan. So I went to Milan, so like for me, that was like, okay, if you're invited to Versace, you're getting your ass on the plane, right? So like, what's it for you to like, because you live in LA, it's like, what is it for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna get my ass on the plane?
So this is something I went through. I spoke in depth with my mom and dad about this because I was like, guys, there's nothing on my schedule this time where I'm like, I have to go. But then I thought, I've been given this platform for a reason. There are some shows that I'm excited about and some brands that I've had long-term relationships with, like Alexis Bitar. And so designers that I have a genuine love for and have worn, or designers that I have a relationship with. So I was like, I'm going to go support the people that have supported me and also support the people that I just am a fan of. And then use it as an opportunity to also bring my culture forward. I put out this TikTok yesterday. And it was a little bit of a rant because I was like, guys, I sent in so many requests this season. 90% people said no.
Just explain to them what you mean by that, though.
Okay. So basically, if you want to attend Fashion Week as an influencer, unless you're like super duper established, you kind of have to like email the PR person and say, hey, I would love to request to attend this show. I have XYZ platform. My audience is interested in this, or I have talked about this brand before. Would you be able to accommodate? And so I sent in my request for this season and mostly got no's. And I was like, okay, part of me could be butthurt about it, but I'm used to this. Like, honestly, as a brown girl from LA who doesn't live in New York, I don't have all the connections here. And I've understood that that's okay. It is what it is. I said in my video that I was tired of seeing the same 4 or 5 people in the front row of every show because I am. I wish the industry were open to more new talent and like would see the value in, involving people that have audiences from different cultures.
Yeah. And that are new.
Yeah.
That are new. A lot of these girlies that are super established have had the same people following them for a long time. And I don't know, maybe they are buying something from these brands. It's so true. I mean, same.
Yeah.
Same. Like, why don't we give some other people a chance?
Yeah. And I think the fashion, I said this in my video too, that like fashion is made up of people like you and me and you. Because we are the ones who are literally like, we buy these items.
I was going to say, we're the ones buying it.
We buy it.
Being gifted.
And then we style them in our own unique individual ways. Like for me, I'll incorporate my culture somehow in what I wear. And I love that. Like they wouldn't exist without us. So instead of me waiting for the validation of being given a front row seat or being given an invite to a show that I'm dying to go to, I don't need to look for that validation anymore. Now I'm going to take this as my opportunity to showcase my culture. So if I'm going to a show, I'm going to wear an Indian designer or I'm going to wear like an Indian piece that I have in some way. So I'm going to capitalize on what I'm being given and stop waiting for other people to validate me.
Heck yes. I love that. Yeah. That is beautiful. And we should all carry that with us, even just on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah.
And it's not about those invisible people, as we spoke about before. Yeah. It's really just about how you feel and the people that love you feel. So it is New York Fashion Week here. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing and what we're excited for.
Okay.
So this is right now in New York, we're showing for Fall winter 25 or 26? No, fall winter 25.
25.
So we're in New York right now. We're showing fall winter 25. 5.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you feel that you've been seeing that are like super exciting?
Oddly, I've been seeing a lot of pastels. Like usually in fall, winter, I see a lot of like blacks and darker colors and grays, but I've been seeing a lot of pastels like minty greens, which I'm loving. I feel like spring, summer is coming into fall, winter. So I don't know what's happening there, but like those typical spring, summer colors are coming into fall, winter. A lot of sheer, like sheer is not going away anytime soon. It's really cool to see how people layer different things. Yeah. And then I feel like furs. I'm always seeing furs, but like it doesn't have to be real fur. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't wear real fur, but yeah, furry things.
Yeah. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of furry things. Kate is bringing back the paperboy hat. We're paying homage to paperboy hat. I've been paperboy hat stan for forever. So excited to see that. But I am seeing like a lot of those fun accessories, a lot of leather as well.
Yeah.
A lot of men's tailoring, which is not going anywhere, which I'm so excited about. I only want to dress like a boy always.
Me too.
I have 2 modes. It's either like super, super girly or like a boy.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to see that. And also, I mean, not that like it's groundbreaking, but I think that like cheetah is coming back, which I'm really excited for. What do you did you hate anything?
I don't ever really hate anything in fashion, and I don't say this like as a political answer, but I just think that I understand what's for me and I understand what's not for me. I will never do, I don't want to say never, but like I will, if skinny jeans are coming back, like people have been saying skinny jeans are coming back, I'm just not. I'm not even going to try. Like, I don't care. You tell me like, try a higher waisted one. No, I'm not doing skinny jeans. Listen, as a dancer, you probably understand this. Our legs are like strong. You know, we got like nice thighs and stuff.
Dumps like a truck. Truck.
Right. And like, I've never found a pair of skinny jeans that fits me well. So if it's coming back, I'm not trying it. So that's one thing that I'm just like, not for me. But if it works and you're like a very tall, you know, long-legged woman, do it if you want.
Any trends that you're looking forward to trying?
Ooh. Honestly, I haven't gone to too many shows yet. I'm excited to go to Norma Kamali on the 11th so I can kind of get a better sense of trends. But I think just accessories. Like I'm in my accessories era. I'm either like embellishing my outfits with accessories. So like, you know how we were seeing Jane Birkinifying your bag? I was playing around earlier.
How do you Jane Birkinify your bag?
So basically that it's the idea of putting your jewelry on your bag. So like adding necklaces and charms and, you know, different things.
Like the twilly around the thing.
Yeah, just like over accessorizing your bag. I put my Indian earrings on my fur coat, like all over. And that was kind of like my way of accessorizing and embellishing. I've put necklaces on my boots I just think accessorizing is the thing that I'm most excited about.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time. We have to do the last question.
Okay.
If you had to choose one word for your character to be remembered by, what would it be?
Iconic.
Yes,
That's all.
I love that. So fun. And you are an icon. You're working so hard. I see you and I really just love what you're doing. And I think that your voice is important. I mean, listen, all of our voices are important, but if you're not following Malvika, how can everybody find you on the internet?
I'm there on the web. I'm your web's favorite girly. Style by Malvika on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
How are you liking YouTube, by the way?
Shorts? I love it. Yeah, it's cute. I mean, I've been a part of the Shorts community, like, because I started on Shorts very early. So I've been a part of like their cohort, like community, and they're great. Like their YouTube community is great. The team is always, you know, very supportive if you ever have questions about Shorts and stuff. So
cool.
I like it.
Well, everybody, make sure you're following along. We both have lots of New York Fashion Week content that's out there. So go head to the pages, like everything, show us love, because even though we said we don't need love from strangers, we still need validation from strangers.
Yes. I mean, actually, if you think about it, my career is dependent on it. So please show some love.
And without strangers, we wouldn't be here together because we are so literally strangers until today. So thank you so much for coming, Malvika. Thank you for taking the time during Fashion Week. I will be rooting you on. I cannot wait to see you in your look for Norma Kamali. And everybody, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.